Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Ting, and I help you learn Chinese in a simple and practical way. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about two very common words in Chinese, gāngcái and gāng. Both can mean just now, but they are used differently in sentences. I'll explain the difference clearly in English with simple Chinese examples, so it's easy to understand. You can also turn on subtitles and choose your preferred language. Let's get started.
All right, if you're learning Chinese, you know the feeling. You see two words, and they both seem to mean just now.
Right. But then you use the wrong one, and the whole sentence just feels weird. Well, today we are settling the score. It's the ultimate showdown. Gāng versus gāngcái.
So you've probably looked at gāng and gāngcái and thought, come on, what's the big deal? They both mean just now, right? Trust me, you are not alone. This is probably one of the most common mix-ups for learners.
Oh, for sure. They look like they should be interchangeable, but they're really not. But hey, don't worry. By the end of this, we promise you'll know exactly when to use each one.
Okay, so to crack this code, we're going to start by getting to know one of our contestants really, really well. Let's meet gāngcái. Now, if there's one thing you take away about this word, let it be this. gāngcái is a time noun. Seriously, just burn that into your brain. Think of it just like you'd think of yesterday or this morning. It's a word that names a very specific chunk of time. You know, that moment that just went by. All right, let's see how this works in a real sentence. You could say, 我刚才在电梯门口遇到经理了. That means, I met the manager at the elevator just now. See? 刚才 is just pointing to when it happened. That specific time, a moment ago. Yep, and here's another perfect one. Let's say someone asks you, 刚才是谁打的电话? Who was it that called just now? And you could answer, 是我妈妈. It was my mom. Now, pay close attention to how 刚才 kicks off that question. That's a huge clue for us, and we're going to see why in just a second. So, to wrap this part up, the main thing to remember is 刚才 is a noun. It's the name for the time a moment ago. Okay, now that we've gotten to know our first contender, it's time to bring in the rival. All right, it is time for the main event. We're putting gāng and gāngcái head-to-head. And don't worry, we've broken it all down into 4 big differences that are going to make everything crystal clear. First up, let's talk about where these words go in a sentence. This is a big one. So gāng is an adverb, which means it has to come right after the subject. You can only say, well, gāng something. But gāngcái, since it's a time noun, it's way more flexible. It can pop up either before or after the subject.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're saying gāng can never, ever, under any circumstances, start a sentence?
You got it. That is a perfect rule to remember. Okay, difference number 2 is all about playing with others. See, gāng is a team player. It can hang out with other time words. For example, you can totally say, 我上个月刚去过云南, which means I went to Yunnan just last month. It's adding that feeling of just to the bigger time frame of last month.
Oh, I get it. So you can't say last month a moment ago. That doesn't make any sense. gāngcái is already a specific time, so if you add another time word, you're just repeating yourself. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
All right, on to difference number 3. And this one is about how long something has been going on. This is where you can really see how gāng focuses on the action. You can say something like, 他刚走了2天. This means he left, and it's now been 2 days since that happened. You're talking about the time that has passed since the action. Ah, okay, light bulb moment. So with gāng, you're saying something just happened, and you can add how much time has gone by since then. But with gāngcái, you're only talking about the exact moment it happened, not anything about duration. Wow, okay, that is a really clear difference. And here we are, our final rule, and it's all about saying no. This one's super simple. You can never, ever say gāng bù. It just doesn't work. If you need to say something didn't happen a moment ago, your only choice is gāngcái.
Exactly. So you'd ask, 你为什么刚才不说? Why didn't you say it just now? That's a really good one to have in your back pocket for sure.
And that's it. Those are the 4 big rules. You survived the grammar duel.
Haha, yes. Now let's do a super quick review just to make sure all these new rules really stick in your brain.
Okay, lightning round recap. Rule 1. Remember, only our noun, gāngcái, can be at the very start of a sentence.
Rule 2. And only our adverb gāng can partner up with other time words, like last month.
Rule 3. If you want to mention how much time has passed since an action, you've got to use gāng. And last but not least, Rule 4. If you need to say something didn't happen, gāngcái is your only choice. No saying gāngbu.
And you know what? That's really the whole shebang. I know it can feel like a lot to take in all at once, but trust us, with a little bit of practice,
It'll start to feel totally natural. The best thing you can do now is just start listening for it when people talk, and don't be afraid to try using it in your own sentences. You can absolutely do this.
And hey, if you're already hungry for more grammar, get ready. In our next explainer, we're going to jump into the HSK3 word 以前, which means before or in the past.
Ooh, that's another really useful one. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We'll catch you in the next one. Happy learning, everyone.
Great job finishing today's lesson. Now you understand the difference between gāngcái and gāng and how to use them correctly in real situations. If you'd like more personalized speaking practice and guidance, you can book a trial lesson through my Preply link in the description. If this lesson helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next lesson. In the next video, we'll learn 以前, how to talk about earlier times in Chinese. See you next time.